You know, if you've been paying attention to the real estate world lately, you might have felt it. There's this tremor running through the industry. Some of the top producing teams, we're talking the heavy hitters with huge sales volumes, are making some really big moves. So today, we're going to dig into why these titans are switching brokerages and what this whole shuffle really signals for the future of the industry. Okay, so let's just start with a number that's going to make your jaw drop. $1.4 billion. And get this, that's the total transaction value of just one of the huge teams that recently jumped ship. So yeah, we're not talking about a small change here. This is a seismic event. And that really brings us to the million-dollar, or I guess billion-dollar question. What on earth could motivate a team that's already so successful, so established, to just pack up and move? And it's not just one team, it's becoming a real trend. So what is going on? All right, here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll look at the sheer scale of this big shuffle. Then we're going to explore the two big ideas competing here: the pull of shiny new innovation versus the raw power of a trusted legacy brand. We'll also see how simple market expansion plays a huge role. And finally, we'll wrap it all up to figure out what this all really means for everybody. So first things first, let's get a real sense of just how big this shuffle is. It's so important to understand that these aren't just a few random moves. No, we are seeing a clear pattern of high-stakes decisions from some of the biggest names in the game. Just take a look at these numbers. I mean, the scale here is incredible. You've got the McConnell's Group pulling in an average of $230 million in sales a year. Then you have the Nick Shivers team hitting $178 million. Even the Sandoval team is clocking in at nearly $50 million. These are not small players. These are industry giants making very, very calculated moves. So, what's the first big reason for a move? Well, for a lot of these teams, it's all about the lure of innovation. They're looking at these modern tech-first brokerages, think eXp Realty or the Real Brokerage, and seeing them as the perfect launchpad for their next phase of growth. And this quote from Keegan Shivers, it just hits the nail on the head. He says how clients search, connect, and build trust is digital first. I mean, this is a guy who's built a social media following of over 330,000 people. For him and his team, the game isn't just about signs and yards anymore. It's about digital influence. It's about meeting clients where they are, which is, you guessed it, online. So what is it that these modern brokerages are offering that's so attractive? Well, for starters, they're promising total support for creativity and social media marketing, which, let's be honest, is everything in today's world. They offer what they call agility without boundaries, letting teams pivot fast without all the corporate red tape. And here's the kicker. They let these huge teams keep ownership of the brand and culture they've spent years building, all while giving them access to the latest tech. But wait a minute, this isn't some kind of hostile takeover by the new guys, not at all. There is still a massive, undeniable power in the legacy brands. We're talking about the names everyone knows, right? Better Homes and Gardens, Remax. These are brands that have decades of consumer trust just baked right into their name. And this quote from Lucas Mudry of BHGRE Paracle really says it all. He straight up credits his company's explosive growth to being linked with one of the most trusted consumer brands. So for them, that household name isn't some old-fashioned thing. It's a rocket ship for growth. It's a critical asset. And if you want to see what that looks like in practice, check this out. BHGRE Paracle started out in 2018 with just 32 agents. By tapping into that brand power, they've blown up to over 400 agents in 5 different offices. And they're so all in on this model that they just signed on for another 10 years. That is a huge vote of confidence in the old-school legacy approach. So really, what we're seeing here are two very different, but totally valid paths to the top. On one side, you have the modern model, which is all about tech, speed, and ownership. And on the other, you have the legacy model, offering instant brand trust, systems that work, and that name recognition you just can't buy. It seems like the choice really comes down to what a team's vision for its own future is. Now, there's another really practical reason for all these moves, and it goes beyond just the company model. It's about good old-fashioned geography. It's all about expanding your footprint. And sometimes the quickest way to break into a new city is to just team up with someone who's already there. This chart makes it super clear. So you've got the Ashton Real Estate Group of Remax Advantage. They're based in Nashville. They wanted to get into the Denver market. So what they do, they brought on the Sandoval team, a top group already in Denver. Boom, instant presence. Same thing with the agency. They wanted a bigger piece of Oregon, so they opened a new office in Lake Oswego. These aren't just random moves, they are strategic chess plays to capture new territory. Okay, so we've seen teams moving for tech, for brand recognition, and for pure market expansion. So, what happens when you put all that together? What does this all really mean for the future of how real estate gets done? Here's the most important takeaway. This isn't just a random shuffle. What we're really watching is what you could call the great alignment. It is a super strategic process where top teams are looking in the mirror, figuring out their own vision for growth, and then very deliberately picking a brokerage partner whose model is the perfect vehicle to get them there. And that brings us to the final conclusion. The industry isn't just marching in one direction towards a single best model. Actually, it's the opposite. It's diversifying. The future of real estate is not a one-size-fits-all world. It's a marketplace of different, powerful options, where the only thing that matters is finding the right fit for your specific vision. So that leaves us with one last big question, especially for any agents or brokers watching this right now. In this new era of alignment, where the best teams are choosing their paths more intentionally than ever before, what does your future brokerage look like? What model fits your vision? That's the billion-dollar question that everyone in the industry is trying to answer right now.